So today I'm going to take you step by step on opening up an Ally savings account. We're actually going to hop over here on the computer so you can follow along in real time. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to show you every single question that's going to ask you while opening up your account. If you are going to be going through this on your cell phone, it's going to ask you very similar questions, maybe in a little bit of a different format, but at least this way you can see what the process is like and what the back end of an Ally bank account actually will look like. And as we go through this, keep in mind that you can be opening up a savings account, or you can open up a spend account, which is effectively a checking account as well. Now, for our example here today, we're going to go ahead and do a savings account. I'll have a link in the show notes down below for you. That is just a regular link to take you right to the site. There is no affiliation with that, but just keeping in mind if you want to hop right over to this page so you can go ahead and get started. You can see here with their savings account, right now we are earning a 4.25% APY, which means we're actually earning money on our money. Now this will go up and down based off of the interest rates that are going on, so keep in mind that might go up or it might go down by the time you see this video. So over here, you can see right above my head, there's gonna be a setting right here that says open new account. We're gonna go ahead and click here. It's gonna actually open up a new tab when we go into this. So it's gonna load up this page here for us, and you can see it's gonna take just a couple of minutes to go through and answer these questions and fill out the form. So first it's gonna ask you if you are already an Ally Bank customer, which for most of us might not be the case. If you already are a customer, you can click on the option at the bottom there, but we're gonna click on not an existing Ally customer, and you can see the continue button pop up for us. Now, just a few little things I wanna go over before we hit continue. There are a few things you need to have to apply. You have to be 18 years or older. They will be asking for a social security number, as it is actually required by federal law. You do have to have a US residential street address. You have to have your legal first and last name and a birth date. So with all of those things in mind, let's go ahead and click on continue here. And the first thing it's going to ask us is if we want to have an individual account, joint, in the name of a trust, or a custodial account. Now, for the most of us, we're probably just going to go with individual. If you do have a spouse, you can go with a joint. You can always add them in later, so keep that in mind. Custodial account will be for anybody under the age of 18. But for our example here today, we're just going to go with individual. So from right over here, you can see the account type is highlighted for savings. There are options for money market, the CDs, or even the spending account like we talked about earlier, but we're going to go ahead and just get started with this savings account. So also right over here, you can see where it says amount, and you can toss in an amount that you want to have deposited. Let's go ahead and see if we can allow to open up this account with $0, which it looks like it did allow us to go ahead and do that. But if you want to have money going in, you are more than welcome to, of course, do that. You can see here, you can actually go ahead and add an additional account. So if you want to do additional savings accounts, so if you're doing like a bucket method, when it comes to like an emergency fund, a spending fund, all those things, you can actually go ahead and open up a second one right now, which will actually save you a little bit of additional time. If you're just going to be opening up the one account, we can go ahead and click on next step. But just in case you want to add an additional account, let's go ahead and show you what that looks like. Click on here and you can see all the different options. So you can click on savings, the amount you want to have started with, which we're going to go ahead and put 0 again. We're going to go ahead and add this account. Keeping in mind, as we add these accounts, you're not actually going to be paying any additional monthly fees on these like some other banks might charge you for having just additional accounts on your overall account. So for us here, this is going to be a really great way to utilize this as a way to have our funds in different buckets or in different savings accounts as a whole. All right, so from right over here, we're going to click on next step. So next up here, you can see we're going to be adding in our information. It says you're only able to open up accounts for US citizens and current US residents. So right over here, we want to make sure we check off our box and click on continue. And from here, this is where we're going to start plugging in our personal information. Now, of course, with this recording, I'm going to fill my portion in and then we're going to jump to the next step. But just to go over some of the things that it's going to need, you can see here first name, last name. You can go ahead and put your date of birth. This is where you'll need to put in your social security number, your mother's maiden name, occupation for yourself, and then a country of citizenship. And then if you scroll down, this is where we're going to put our email, phone number, our home address, filling all this out. And if everything is going to be good to go, we're going to click on the next button and jump over, which I'm going to go ahead and do here. So we're going to jump over to that next step. Now, before we move on, if you are somebody who has yet to set up their retirement account and know that you need to get it put together sooner rather than later, I actually got you covered. I recently created an online course where I help people set and forget their retirement. So if you don't want to worry about how the stock market works, if you don't want to worry about checking your account on a day-to-day basis for retirement, I actually created a course that'll help you set up your retirement and let you forget about it while it continues to grow and have money for your retirement. So check out the link in the show notes down below for this course and use the coupon code YouTube to get $100 off. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump back into our tutorial here so that way we can open up your Ally account. So once I plugged in all my information and hit that next button, it actually jumped me right over here to just review and make sure that everything looks correct. So make sure you didn't misspell your address or your mom's maiden name or any of that information. And if everything looks good, we can hit the next step. But also keep in mind, you can also add in your joint owner right over here if you didn't do it in the earlier steps and decided to want to go ahead and do it now. Again, you can also do this later on once your account is fully created. So we're going to click on next step. And right over here, this is going to be consent to receive information electronically instead of getting things in the mail. If everything looks good for you, you can click on agree and continue. So this section right over here, it's asking if you have any backup withholdings to the IRS. So for us, we have a no here. You're going to scroll down and here you're going to see where it says certify and continue. So next up here, you can see your account agreement. You can look at all the different PDFs. There's 4 different ones you can go through. If everything looks good, you can check off the box. And then at the bottom there, you can see where it says submit application. So you can see over here, it is reviewing it in real time. It says it could take up to 15 seconds. You can see that bar moving as I'm actually talking in real time. So next up here is going to be identity verification. Now this might not actually pop up for you, so it would just jump you over to the next page. But this is the great thing is if it does show up, this is essentially just making sure that it is you. It's going to ask you a couple of questions that essentially mostly just you would know at this point. So go ahead and answer these questions and then we're going to go on to the next step. So next up here on this step, it's going to ask you to go ahead and deposit money. So you can choose the amount that you want to go ahead and deposit. Again, you can actually wait until a little bit later if you needed to. So you can click on add money later, and that's going to close this up and then hit the next step. So from right over here, it is going to ask you to create your login information. So you can see it's going to ask you to create your username, your password, re-enter your password, a hint, security question, and then you can see for your statements, you can have online only or you can do paper and online. Once everything's filled out, we're going to hit submit and jump over to the next page. From here, it says you are all set. You can go directly to your account. You could also add in beneficiaries, which I always recommend doing when it comes to your bank accounts. And then you can see your new accounts right over here with their account numbers. Now we're going to click on go to our accounts. Now, when I went through and actually went to go to our accounts, it had me log in and it's going to actually ask me to set up my phone number security. So it sends me a code. So I'm going to plug in my phone number and click on add. Now from here, it's going to ask me to consent to receiving information for my text messages. I'm going to agree and continue. And then right over here to the online banking service agreement, we're going to go agree and continue again. And then I want to register this device so that way I don't have to be logging in all the time. So we're going to hit continue. And then from here, just verifying all the information we plugged in and then going to my account. And just like that, we have our Ally savings account up and running. Now that we have our Ally savings account up and running, and let's say you want to have some money moving into your account as quickly as possible, check out my video right over here to learn how to send money to yourself utilizing Zelle to get money in there as soon as possible.